What's up, y'all? Bam, 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 bam. All right. My apologies to leave you all waiting this evening. Thank you for your continued patience. Um, we are getting ready to get started, and tonight's stream is special because we are going to. Because I know a lot of you guys are in relatively relatively free states. Let's be honest, none of us are free, right? However, when it comes to acquiring certain things for security, um, a lot of us live in states that are more lenient than others. Tonight, we're going to take a dive into behind enemy lines, and it's going to get pretty cool. So stick around. We're getting ready to go live and introduce our guest, which I think you guys will have a blast with. So cool. Stick around. All right. So, everybody, please give a very warm, welcoming round of applause to N9ne, your favorite rapper, N9ne.
What up? What up?
Welcome.
Yo, yo,
So,
yo.
I appreciate you, Tech9, showing this much of your personal life.
That's all good.
I know you know, it's weird to come on stream like that sometimes, but no, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah,
Why
sure.
don't you tell the kind folks a little bit about yourself as much as you want to, and kind of why we're here.
Well, you guys might know me under a different screen name. Um, what can I say? I'm trapped behind enemy lines. I've been here my entire life. It was pretty cool as a kid, but unfortunately, it has gotten a little more communistic, I'd say, especially over the last 5 to 10 years alone. And that's why I have to take all these over the top precautions because I just don't want, let's just say, certain type of actors, both figuratively and literally, to have any pretty much to try and recognize me is the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's smart. It's interesting because for me, looking back on it, I was always like, man, like I wish I just never showed my face. I wish
Yeah,
I never, broadcasted from a real IP address. I wish I
yeah,
was going
exactly.
back. I just wish I could have just, but at this point, it's like, hey, I'm out there. It's I can't go backwards. And even if I did go backwards, everything's still already out there. So if
Yeah,
anybody out there is considering starting a channel, look like Tech9 when you do it, and make sure you take all the all the proper precautions when doing it. So when you say you're behind enemy lines, what do you mean by that?
I am behind the. How do I describe this? You can call it the San Andreas Wall, the Great Firewall of California, uh, or just California or anything along those lines. But yeah,
Yeah.
I am within California's borders, and as a result of that, I'm more of a subject or a peasant than a citizen.
Mm,
So pretty much
damn.
anything I do, I can promise you, is going to be monitored and or it's going to be monitored, analyzed, and archived in some capacity. So even with all the precautions I take, there's a good chance that some asshat at the California DOJ is probably going to be watching because they're always looking for an opportunity to make an example out of someone.
Dude,
That's
that's
why
so
you
crazy.
Well, that's why you rarely see any California gun tubers really putting out any quote unquote real gun content anymore, because I mean, there are some guys like Gun Guy TV, Reno May. Really the only ones left that I follow that really do anything. I mean, there were some others. Tactic California was another. Probably the best known would probably be the Daily Shooter. He was out here for a number of years, and then he was able to flee over the border to the free state of Nevada, at least what's left of it being free. And he pretty much puts all of his gun content now from there. He still covers California stuff, but anything that deals with any sort of actual going pew pew bang bang is far and in between.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Zach Carr? Welcome, brother. I was just thinking about you, actually. I put a couple new patches on the wall,
Nice.
courtesy of JSD, and they came in the same bags as my DLD ones, so I'm hoping that they were Toxic Patch Co. It was the Lego gun and the belt that says "Build More Guns." So yeah, my apologies.
That's all good.
Yeah, and actually, I my sincerest apology, y'all. I usually go through Dirt McGirt, Gert Chop, the GD Bacon, Alex Pistoso, Zach Carr, Armitage. What's up, brother? BB Luminous, Gert Chop, Gert Chop, Gert Chop, Gert Chop, Gert Chop. Love you, Gert Chop. Edge of the South, Julian Weiss. I don't think I've ever seen you, Julian Weiss. It's a pleasure seeing you here. And is near Beware. What's up, brother? Dean. Hey, Dean, did that whatchamacallit come in the mail? Let me know. And everybody else I didn't get to scroll back to, thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all being in chat. Yeah, so you've been there your entire life.
Yep.
Tell me about the changes that you've seen.
Well, you know what? It's just like, where do I start? The best example I can give you is when I'd say I was either 6 or 7 years old. Me and my parents and other members of my family used to always go to the coast, or the beaches out here is what we call it. I mean, there was always a lot of different vacation spots, kind of sleepy, just good old homebody. Everybody was kind of on a first name basis.
Yeah.
And those days fortunately are long gone. But when I tell you this story, I actually bought this plastic boomerang, kind of a green color, and it was a real boomerang that you could throw and it would come back at you. And it was at a seaside shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go out to the beach and I would throw it and it would come back and I'd try to catch it. And okay, you think, okay, well, what's so important about that? What's such a big deal? Or frisbees, footballs, all that sort of stuff. Nobody would have batted an eye or really would have cared. Well, if you were to try and do that today, chances are good you'll end up in handcuffs. You'll probably be looking at doing some time.
What?
And on top of it, if you're a parent who is doing it, you'll probably be locked up for child endangerment. You lose your kid. It's just so asinine. I mean, shit. By my language, I used to play with actual, playing with BB guns, playing with, you guys remember those of you who are old enough, you might remember cap guns.
Oh, yeah. The cap guns that weren't like always clear, green, red, like.
Yeah, they were actually made of metal. Sometimes they may have been like a weird orange or red color.
Yeah.
But we would play with those. I mean, I just don't recognize it, man. I don't recognize it. And if there was for example, if you were to shoplift, even in a far left place like Los Angeles, you would have been picked up and gone to jail for that shit. Also, too, there's a good chance if you were to break into somebody's house, especially in my area, trust me, your ass would have been put down.
Yeah, you get killed.
Yeah, so that's what would have happened. Now, I really can't say. I just can't say.
Isn't it true that essentially if you steal less than $900?
Yeah, it's about $900 to $1,000. It used to be $500, but then they took it up to about right under $1,000, and you don't have to worry about doing time. You don't have to worry about anything happening to you.
They don't even arrest you at all, right?
No, they don't. They look the other way.
Okay.
But yet, if you or to defend your property or your shop, be it with a firearm, I'll take it further, a bat, a sword, even a crossbow, or even an archer set. You're the one who's getting arrested. You're the one who's going to be prosecuted.
Bro.
Because, you're a white supremacist.
So if, and this just is like mind-boggling to me, if you commit any type of misdemeanor, because anything grand larceny is less than $1,000, I believe. Somebody out there that has more information on that, let me know. But any type of misdemeanor theft, they're not even touched. They're
No,
like,
they're
the
not.
police won't even come.
Well, they'll come, but in other ways. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, right. Dude, that is just crazy to me. Like in my area now, granted, very different areas, right? And I think there's a couple different elements to this. I think one element is like, the place that, where we have grown up has changed, and the other element is as we grow up, we notice different things. We not only see different things, but we also see things differently. So
Yeah.
things may have been like that our whole life. We just have a different perspective, and it could be right. But we had a situation where, like, at like the WalMarts, the you know Costco's, the like those types of places, like the big box stores, where literally they have like 10 TVs of this size sitting out, 6 TVs of this size
Yep.
sitting out, and all
That's
that.
how it used to be here too. Believe it or not, that's how it used to be. You would have open elect. Hell, that was back, of course, when Circuit City was still in existence, because that's what's the
Oh
place we all
God,
were to
yeah.
shop.
But people would literally grab TVs, put them in the cart, and then just walk out the store.
That
And
was rare. I'll be honest with you. That was rare. I hardly ever saw anything like that happen.
yeah, like back in the day, I'd say that was very rare. But I think when things started kind of changing, when being a thief became more commonplace,
Yeah.
in my area, like they had to take different precautions, but they stopped them, right? They did things to stop them. It's just mind-boggling that things have gotten to that point. But
It's
so
the
what
far
other
left.
things have you kind of noticed that have changed over the years? Oh,
Well,
and
you
really
got the far
quickly,
left to thank
sorry,
for it. Or go ahead, sorry.
Zach Carr, thank you for the super chat, brother. He put shit in them streets, which I
You
think
know
he
what? He's
means
telling the truth.
quite literally, right?
Very literally.
In your like general area
In
is
my area, I'll admit I haven't had too much of that. I'm more likely to run or literally step in either cat crap or dog crap. But we have had a lot of instances with bums coming through, setting up, skid rows. I will give my local town credit. They really have been doing a lot trying to get it cleaned up, because my park used to be really bad. I mean, at one point, I'm not going to give any real specifics, but let's just say that I was, how do I describe this? I was carrying some extra precaution on me that wasn't probably, let's just say that what the state don't know won't hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the only one who has maybe been forced into that position.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even though, okay, let me give this an example. I'll use CCWs, is what we call it, concealed carry weapons permits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate I live in a county that is, for all intents and purposes, a shall issue county, because they will, once you go through the whole process and all through the headache,
Yeah.
you will get your CCW, but it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to do it.
Damn.
I was looking at going through it, but at one point I was like, you know what, it ain't worth it. I started working from home, so I always had access to what I needed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And especially since the pandemic happened, I stopped going out to places, be it socially or working or what have you. Kind of had no choice but to become a bit of a hermit.
Yeah.
Except on certain occasions.
How do you think that's impacted your,
It's impacted everything.
like
I mean,
psychologically speaking? Is it
psychologically, it's taken its toll on me. I'm not gonna lie, it's taken its toll. Oh boy. To
And
give
you
you an
don't have to
example,
talk about. You can talk about anything you want to. So don't.
well, to give you an example, I lived in San Francisco for about 6, almost 7 years.
Damn.
Went to school, became my home, uh, and some of the crap that that was going on today was going on back then up there, but it was kind of like more of it was contained. It wasn't all in your face like it is now. Whereas back then, I mean, I had my run-ins with lefties and all types of individuals from all walks of life. Some were good, some weren't the best, but there was just still kind of that old-fashioned boundary of, well, we can just agree to disagree, and then
Mm-hmm.
we moved on.
Yeah.
And I was always outspoken anyway. But then it started getting to the point to where you couldn't talk about anything, or if you said something, I mean, I remember I would get random ass phone calls on my phone. People somehow got my number, were threatening me. I
What?
had someone try to break into my place more than once when I was, especially once I had gotten out of downtown. I was followed by guys who were you know, little bit less upstairs than we all would like, and unfortunately, I started suffering some mental burnout, especially after I got out in 2012, 2013, and I just came back home because I couldn't find work after I got out of school.
So,
And, or go ahead.
sorry, just not to cut you off, but just to kind of get clarity on something.
Yeah, sure.
What was the like? Why were people like threatening and like reaching out, like calling and shit like that?
Because they didn't like my politics, because I wasn't afraid to say what I meant. And if someone didn't like it, my attitude was, well, that's your problem, not mine. Kiss my ass. Get over
Gotcha.
it.
Okay, yeah. So you weren't really like hiding your values or thoughts like
No, I wasn't. I
most
mean,
people
people
do.
would be like, I would go up there and might say something stupid, and I might have had a few beers in me, and I was like, well, I appreciate that, but you're full of shit. And
Yeah.
they would just look at me like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what do you think? I'm a church going Republican. Like, I give a
Yeah.
shit what you think. And it just would, sometimes it would just kind of there again, it would either be like, well, then we just have to agree to disagree, change the subject. Then it
Yeah.
escalate from that to like, well, you can't think that way. And I'm like, I'll think whatever way I fucking want.
Well,
Sorry, I'm
and
getting, pardon my language. I'm
no,
just,
you're good. You're good. It's I would love to say that I'm a family friendly show, but hey, let's be honest, right? Like I'm sitting here
well,
with my drumsticks,
I'll never forget. There's something that another
hollow
guy,
hollow drumsticks, y'all.
sweet. No, there was another guy I used to follow on YouTube, and he doesn't really post that much anymore. But while I did follow him, he said something that really stuck with me. And he was always getting criticized because he was supposed to be a Christian, and he was always, cussing and saying things that weren't very, Christian like. And he's like, look, people, there's no such thing as a G-rated apocalypse.
Mm,
And I was like, dang, he ain't lying.
yeah,
So
that's real right there.
that's just
I,
kind of how just how my mindset currently runs.
we had Johnny B on at some point like a while back, and he said something that kind of resonated with me too, and it's interesting because like you always have like self reflection of some sort,
Yeah, you do.
you
Yeah.
know most like reasonably sane people do. If you're in chat and you don't have any self reflection at all, then you should go talk to somebody. But he had said. He said like I'm a God fearing person. I'm a God loving person. I know a lot of people don't like Johnny B, so whatever. I don't really
Yeah.
care. Not discussing that, but what he said was I am a very flawed Christian,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I cuss too much, I judge too much, and he went through, and it's like, man, like that's, if you can't look at yourself and see the flaws, the challenges, the opportunities for growth,
Oh
then
yeah. Yeah.
shit, Yeah.
Yep,
So,
essentially, that's what makes us human.
yeah, man. Um, I'm looking through some of the comments here. Hold on. Sounds like Korea over there. People not even allowed to think. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mhm.
dude, freaking boomerangs are illegal over there. Like, it's crazy.
They weren't when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. Yeah. So, what other things have you experienced being over there in the belly of the beast?
Jeez, well, you know what? I'd say things. There was still a certain amount of sanity, at least for a while. After 2015 is when things really started going off the rails. I mean, it kind of started a little bit further back than that, but it's just, I think what a lot of it comes down to is a lot of of the conservative population is what the best way I'll describe it. Just got disillusioned. I'm not going to say they gave up, but they pretty much they left. They're going to other states, other localities that share their values,
Mm-hmm.
and as of right now, there are more left leaning people moving in than there are conservative people. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
can't even say liberal anymore. Liberal might as well be libertarian.
Yeah.
And
Everything has changed.
dude, it's changed in ways that it boggles my mind because it literally is almost like a different country now. And some of this I saw a million miles away just because of my experiences being up in the Bay Area, being in Los Angeles. But at least I always believe that some in the end some sort of common sense, which I know is not very common anymore, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that would have prevailed. But all the continuous propaganda that has been pushed in our schools and from the media and God knows what else
Yeah.
really has essentially it's destroyed that way of thinking, especially here. Because I mean, I remember even when I was in elementary school. I mean, there were some times we would deal with educators or teachers who were kind of left leaning, but they didn't really start preaching this crap till I'd say till once I got into junior high. Even high school wasn't that bad. I mean, I ran into it occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
but when it really started getting bad, what I remember is, I mean, this is all the way back in 2000, 2001, when I first went to junior college. And by that point, the classes I was taking, because you know what, we were kids, we didn't know any better per se. We were just
Yeah.
doing what we thought was right or supposed to do based on what we were taught as by our parents and other parental figures, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But they almost had me hating my country
Wow.
because I knew that there was a balance between, we've done a lot of bad, but we've done a whole hell of a lot of good too. And I just thought, well, sometimes you have biases, some are going to acknowledge it, some won't. Well, little did I realize that it was all in the end just a bunch of propagandic far left communist bullshit. And after all that saying and going, I was very fortunate that I discovered an individual by the name of Glenn Beck.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, love him, hate him, however you feel, he really got me. He started red pilling me back in 2008,
Mm.
and there was a lot of stuff that he was saying. You know what? Just go pick up the books, read the material yourself, verify it on your own that what I'm saying isn't a lie. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll take you up on that challenge. And so I started buying books and I started reading, and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is the truth. And everything I was taught, I'd say, from like the fifth grade on, was all a bunch of lies. Because that's around the time that people started objecting to saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
You know what I think it truly is, and this is like the terrifying thing, and I know it
Yeah.
doesn't only live in California, right? I think we've seen it in every state all over the country, but
Yep. Hmm.
the things that Daddy Gov can't legislate, that they could never even dream of passing as law, or uh, restrictions through an executive order, or like whatever it is, like those things that they can't legislate, they legislate societally, right? They start making things okay to see in a society, and then they start becoming pushed societally, and then people
Mm-hmm.
like those are the things that are like okay to talk about. Like for an example, I was at a dinner this evening, and at the dinner, this is the first time I've heard about this in my area, and I got chills. And I'm sitting here with me, my daughter, like my family is here,
Yeah.
not like my family, like my family, right?
Right.
And these people were with her saying like, oh yeah, we went to this comedy show, like, oh, it was great, like it was the funniest thing we've seen, like in whatever in years. And they start talking about the venue, and as they talk about the venue, they start talking about the seating arrangements, and then
Mm-hmm.
somebody said, well, have they changed the seating arrangements due to the karate called? And they were like, no.
I haven't heard that one yet. I like
Yeah,
that. I'm going to keep that.
yeah, that's the Karate Claw. I forgot who I got that from. I think Sport Brand actually. So shout out to
I
Sport
like that
Brand.
one.
What's up, brother? Um, and it's like, well, have they changed the seating arrangements due to like the Karate Cold, or is it just like whatever? And they start talking, and they're like, no, we actually had to show our card at the door to get in. They were turning people away, and if you didn't have a card, you had to have the app
Show me your
with your
papers.
QR code. Yes, and they were scanning QR codes at the door, bro.
Well,
And
guess
then,
what? That ain't, or go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
well, so it's getting actually to exactly kind of that same point of like, you know, what is okay to discuss like societally. And I think that
Yeah.
the next natural progression from that conversation was, okay, um, we showed our QR code, we showed our papers, and are you, you know, did you get yours, and did you get yours, and did you get your, and I'm just like, bro, like
Oh, God.
you guys
Yeah.
are openly talking. Just out of curiosity, have you taken an HIV test recently? No? Well, you should. Everyone should. Hey, do you have your HIV? Like, what? Like, where have we come that, like, it is okay to just, like, so my point to this is that, like, it is now okay societally to talk about these types of things, to talk about, to ask those questions, to intrude on people's privacy, to, have those different beliefs. And that's just like me saying, you don't build guns, you don't build guns, like, oh my god, like what is wrong with you? Like, do you not believe in humanity? Like, do you not
Mm-hmm.
believe in, you don't know how to build energy, or like synthesize energetics in your basement? Like, what are you talking about? So I think what they're doing is actually very smart. They have these little I mean, from their perspective, they have these little like test zones throughout the country where they're kind of seeing how far they can go and how hot they can turn up the water to. And they are, these things that they're talking about are okay, and they're being enforced by the society as opposed to law. But it is probably not just as effective, it's probably more effective that way.
The next step beyond that, it's the same thing I told Bacon the other night when he was kind enough to have me on his show. Next progression from that is the registration. Then from the registration to the boxcars. Then from the boxcars to the camps. And the camps to the godforsaken gas chambers.
Yeah,
And my attitude is they can all, who wants to do that shit, can go to hell.
yeah,
And I'll fight your ass tooth and nail every fucking step of the way if I have to.
yeah,
And I got, and they're like, well, you don't, well, have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever had to take a man's life? Have you ever had to? It's all by the grace of God that I haven't. It's by the grace of God that I've never had to kill for my way of life, but I will and am more than willing to die to fucking defend it.
Yeah.
And I'm making this shit public right now, and I guess I shouldn't be, but you know what? I'm at a point to where I no longer really give a rat's ass. And what all I'm going to say is that if they come asking me for my Vax card, I got a card right here for you. You can slide it down your fucking ass crack.
Yeah.
And that's my line is drawn, and I'm fed up. And thank God I live in a county that shares that sentiment, because I'm surrounded by a bunch of. I'm on an island in a deep blue sea, an island with red sand, and you know, it's just. I'm sorry to get emotional about this shit, but
I mean, how can you not? You know.
Well, I've been dealing with it for well, I'll tell you this much, and this is what really surprised the hell out of me. There's a good friend of mine, and we've had our differences, but we go back a long, long ways. So we pretty much grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
He really had drank the far left Kool-Aid for a while, and I had pretty much cut him out of my life because there again, we just weren't able to communicate. I was evil because of my beliefs, and I needed to be taught a lesson, was kind of his attitude. And I was like, well, I'm not hard to find. And this is from his standpoint. But I'm like, fine. Have your far left buddies pay me a visit and see what the fuck happens. Of course, that never happened. Too many. And that's another point I'll make. But just to stay on topic, I'll say that next. Is when I started talking to him again, because he came out of nowhere and started trying to get my attention and what have you, and I was ignoring him on purpose. Till one day he just came to the door and he just like stood up, "Hey, can I talk to you and your family? I really have to get something off my chest." And I'm like, "Well, why?" He's like, and first thing he said is, "I'm sorry for what I said and what I did. I was wrong." I was like, okay. My jaw pretty much hit the floor. I was like, all right, you want back in the family? I'll let you in for old time's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And his attitude essentially had done a complete 180. He even did something that I never thought possible. Is he asked me to take him to the range, teach him how to use a gun. And he was vehemently anti-gun. He hated guns. He hated weapons. He was about as much of a hippie slash pacifistic as you can get. Just a complete wuss in that regard, as far as I was concerned. Yeah. And now we've gone to the range a few times. He loves it. And he's talking about wanting to starting his own collection.
Nice.
And I was like, by all means, I told him I got no qualms helping him out with that. And so there is some hope. There are those who might have, quote unquote, as I'll say, fallen from grace, but some have found their ways back in some ways. And the other point I was trying to make too is just with all the left-wing shenanigans that I dealt with living up north and then being in LA and coming back and to my area and then going out again and coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, the emotional outburst. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get on a soapbox. But the same sort of pissing contests, if you will, that I got into with him, I was getting into with a whole bunch of people. And I just simply, like I said earlier, I just stopped caring. If you're going to, threaten me with physical violence or something like that, come do your worst.
Yeah.
That's what I was starting to say. And most as a rule wouldn't do it because they're all a bunch of fucking cowards.
Yeah.
They try to act like a big ass pit bull, but they're just a damn chihuahua. And yeah, chihuahuas can be vicious, but their bark is far worse than their damn bite.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I'm just going to add this really quickly, that we certainly do not advocate for
No, we don't.
I
don't advocate for it either. I don't like to. I'm actually a very peaceful guy, and I don't like confrontation. I have a let and let live policy. You do what works for you. I'll do what works for me. And as long as you don't, you don't bother me, I won't bother you. I ain't got a problem with you.
Yeah.
That's in the reality. I just want to do my thing, and I just don't want to be bothered with all the trivial stuff. There's so many more important things in this world to be concerned with. But it don't work that way out here anymore. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, I
So,
can imagine.
I'm off the soapbox now.
No, you're good, man. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, that's you got to be in a tough position, and you
Yeah,
know, um,
it can be
you know,
tough from time to time. It can be.
yeah, that's. But something that I was just kind of thinking of is like you see, your world kind of changing, going in a direction that you don't like or agree
Yep.
with, and you see people fleeing, running for
Yep.
the hills, right?
Yep.
What is it that's keeping you? Because it seems like you're, intentionally staying, right? Like you're not like like all the time we hear the victim like, oh, I'm in California and oh, like I just can't find a way out of here and but it seems like you're like, no, this is my land, this is where I'm
Well, you
from.
know what? You could say that. How do I put this into words? I'd say that my existence in that regard has come full circle. Everything that I knew growing up is pretty much long gone. I mean, if I had my druthers, I would move tonight. But fortunately, it's so much easier said than done. I mean, I've gotten into spats with people online who I don't even bother doing anymore because it's easy to point the finger when you're living in a place where they're not pushing that stuff. And my warning always is keep your damn eye out because they will. California is the petri dish for American communism. Everything that they try here, they will, in some capacity, try to push out onto the rest of the 49.
I believe that. I
And
truly believe that.
what it really seems to boil down to is, I mean, nothing would make me happier to be able to pack myself up, pack up my parents, pack up some other individuals, friends, extended family, and just go to a different state that shares our values. And we actually would probably be doing quite well. We would be a lot more prosperous. But for me, it's just as much of a emotional thing as it is a practical. In a practical sense, I just can't pack up everything and just go. I need to have a plan of some kind. I need to have a place where I know I can go. And I need
Hmm.
to be sure that I know people that I got to be sure that I'll be accepted for who I am and where I'm from because Californians have such a negative stereotype, specifically within most of the quote unquote red states. We
I
ain't
can
welcome.
almost guarantee you, you're going to be welcome more so anywhere more so than you are now. At least
Well, you know, I
you'll
would like to
notice there'll
believe
be a
that, but
palpable difference.
I mean, the second they see the plates on my car, I just don't want my car getting vandalized, and I don't want someone trying to jump me, pointing a gun at me, saying, "Go back where you damn came from," because
Yeah,
they think that all of us, we all are nothing more than a bunch of libtards sucking on a fat donkey dick wearing a fedora. Excuse the puns.
yeah. No, I
But
mean, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised, but I guess my question would be, what about New York? I guess my question would be, um, do you want to stay to kind of make a statement of like, I would rather change the land than change myself, or and there's kind of other layers to that we don't necessarily need to jump into, right? But like,
yeah, I hear you.
um, I guess the best way to say it would be like, is it a statement like I'd rather stay here and change the land instead of changing the location or changing the man, or um, is it kind of like I'm stuck? I kind of like the victimhood thing. Not to say that like you're I don't know if that came out wrong.
No, I get what you're saying fully. And partially it is a bit of a statement because there again, this is home. It always has been and always will be. This is all I've ever known. I mean, I've been to other states. I have friends and family, blah, 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 that live in other states that I don't really converse with that much, but there is still that presence. But at the same time, too, it's both a statement. It's an emotional statement because it's hard to leave everything you know to go someplace where you don't know anyone, you don't know the layout, you really just don't know what to expect because you don't have the hardcore or you don't have that experience of actually being there long term. It's one thing to be there for a weekend and think, oh, this is great, and then move out there and find out, oh, it's completely different. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this because it's so different. It's almost a type of culture shock is the best way to put it because it is different. But it's also too, it's
so much freedom. I don't know what to do.
well, that part I would be just fine with, but it's just the fact that that's pretty much what it is. It's a combination of making a statement, kind of hesitancy just because of the fact that I'm going someplace where I've never been before, quote unquote, per se, and I don't know the people, and it may sound like an excuse, but it's a bit of a comfort zone. I can't deny that. There is definitely a comfort zone that I am a little bit hesitant to walk out of because it's familiar. I mean, I could say like you're in Wisconsin, and I'm assuming you've pretty much been there your entire life. And, I assume that your family, friends, I mean, both your immediate family, external family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all. I'm assuming this is a guess on my part. It's all you've ever known. And then out of nowhere, people who are on the internet or maybe individuals, friends that you might have and who've moved to a different place, and they're telling like, hey man, it's fantastic. You need to move now and get out of there and go to wherever we're at and et cetera, et cetera. But then it's like the course, well, yeah, that sounds all great on paper or in theory.
Yeah.
But this is all I've ever known. This is all I know. So I got to assume there's got to be that comfort zone.
It's kind of like, I'm sorry.
Well, it's got to be that comfort zone in place that, there's just that little part of you that's just a little bit hesitant to do it because it's a part of who you are. It's ingrained in you and it's just something that you can't change. You can try to change it, but in the end, it's just who, what, where, when, and how. It's the cornerstone of your existence.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm third generation being here. My great grandparents came here, fleeing the tyranny from Europe. Both the Grand Kaiser in Germany and the fascist movement in Italy and the supposed the Inksock or the English socialist movement that was going on in England in the 19 teens and 20s. And I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's just, I mean, shit, that's just how it was. My grandparents came here from their respective places that they had settled.
Yeah.
They met their significant others. I mean, shit. I have no shame in saying that I'm the grandson of not one, but two World War II vets, and had a very significant impact on my upbringing. Same thing goes too is that, I mean, I was a Boy Scout. I spent time in the woods. I learned skills that most people could maybe, unless they lived in the Midwest or in this other part of the country, things that they might not have learned. I mean, that's how I got into firearms, was because of the firearms merit badge.
You can tie knots like a motherfucker.
Pretty much I can. Well, I'll let you guys in on this. I got my Eagle Scout when I was 17.
Damn.
And that was something that used to carry a lot of weight. Man, it doesn't carry weight anymore. It used to be respected.
Yeah. I think it's everything has changed, right? And I think going back to like the, like the why don't you just leave, right? It's
Yeah,
easy. All you have to do is leave. It's kind of like me saying, like, for me to get back in shape, all I have to do is eat healthfully and work out. It's like, well, yeah, but
yeah.
it
You got to put
sounds
in the
so
you got to put in
simple.
that effort too. The
Yeah,
other thing too is the fact is that it's also kind of economical as well. I'm in between careers right now. Was in the process of getting myself reestablished with a different path, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, all that got derailed, and I'm
yeah,
still kind of stuck in a holding pattern. And there's just not much I can do unless I just choose
I
to just
feel
get in my
you.
car and go to a different state, live in my car, and hope for the best. And I'm just not willing to do that.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. I went through that right when everything originally hit. March of 20. Um,
Yeah,
it was tough. And then, like right when it hit, I was like, you know what? I'll just take this time to like peacefully, kind of decompress from a,
yep, yep,
really, a unique role where I was like always the one that was like in demand. I was like always the one that needed to be like,
yep,
my door was getting knocked on by
yep,
and all
exactly.
that shit. And I was like, I'll just decompress. And then the next day after, walking out of that situation, um, my daughter's school closed for
Yeah,
6 months, and it's like, fuck,
yeah,
now I'm like, I'm dad, of course, but I'm also now like her best friend. I'm the chef.
hmm,
I'm the teacher. I'm
yeah,
the and and how we're put in these situations. It's like, how the fuck can I find a new job making X amount of dollars?
yep,
And
exactly.
it's crazy, but I feel you, man. I feel you. And one of the things we touched on before we went live was
Yeah.
security. And you're limited, but I was surprised to hear some of the things that you showed me. Like you busted out like a 40-round mag, and I was like, whoa, hold up. And I think a lot of us have heard about like Freedom Week and stuff like that, but can you give an idea to some folks about like what
Oh,
those tools look like to us over here are not what those tools look like to you guys over here, and vice versa?
well, prime example when it comes to that, when it comes to the quote unquote high capacity mags or standard cat mags is what they really are. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of right now, it all, as of the very moment of this recording, it all kind of falls into a legal gray zone. We out here had a very limited window in April of 2019. The specific dates are kind of a little foggy. I think it was between the 9th and the 19th. For that specific time period, it was 100% legal to buy, transfer, modify, bring in, possess, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Standard cat mags. That's why there was a mag shortage around the entire country because every Californian from here to Mount Shasta was buying standard cat mags, buying drums, buying various capacities. Many
Yeah.
were buying mags for firearms they didn't even own yet. I kind of fall into that bracket. Some guys spent anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe $5 grand,
Wow.
and
Were the
it,
prices inflated from what they typically are,
they
or
weren't too bad actually. No, they actually weren't. And there was actually a time period through there that even after the window had closed, any orders that were placed during that specific time, thank God, were still honored. So I still had shipments of a couple of mags coming into me, maybe 4 or 5 months after. I'd say probably until about maybe around Christmas of that year, till or where they were still being honored essentially, as long as they
yeah,
were all bought legally during that time period. And right now they're all kind of in a grandfathered status because it's still winding its way through the courts. There was a judge out here. You guys have probably heard of him because of the national news panicking. Because like, oh,
yeah,
a federal judge dared to challenge the status quo. You got that part damn right. Uh, Roger T. Benitez, or as we call him, Saint Benitez out here. And I got to be,
yeah,
well, that's sacrilegious. I'm Catholic, so that kind of, I call him the patron saint of the Second Amendment
yeah,
because He's ruled not once but 3 times in our favor, and the damn state has stepped in every single time, and they bribed the Ninth Circus to overturn him. And the only thing I can hope for is eventually the Supreme Court might actually do something, but I'm definitely not going to hold my breath. But at least until that time, the mags that I got, I can still, for all intents and purposes, legally keep. But that's not going to stop the state from trying to enforce their bullshit. There have been some guys, especially outside of my area, that have been caught with high-capacity mags that they bought during that time, and it was up to them to have to prove it, and they went through the whole legal recourse. Some lost their weapons, some didn't, some lost their mags. I mean, it's a clusterfuck. It's the best way to put it, and it's all on purpose.
Yeah, I heard that basically, like, some people got, some people got their mags taken and, like, arrested and, like, all sorts of shit like that. Like, bro, well, and actually, on that note, and for those in the chat saying it, please do me a favor and shoot the thumbs up directly in the face. That'd be very helpful. Thank you. As Alex Bestoso speaks in binary code.
Well, at least along in the alcohol code.
Yeah, right.
I got some joke. That's a joke that goes out to Alex. You know, I've been we've been doing some bantering. But
nice.
What it all comes down to is not just the mag situation when it comes to being able to, like, for example, we have this thing out here called I call it, and many of us call it, the unsafe handgun roster. And what that essentially is, it's they call it's from the Safe Handgun Act of 2001. And it was something that the damn Dems cooked up to try and essentially create a backdoor ban or prohibition on all handguns. So all the nice toys that you guys like to play with, unless I want to pay like an inflated price at like 15, 20 times the amount, and I want to have what's known as a fixed mag configuration, I can't have it. Even if I go out of state, I can't bring it to the state, because then the state will consider it to be a AW or assault weapon. And I'm looking at pretty much at a felony and 30 years to life. And the only way to get say again.
Do they still do the strikes out there, like 3 strikes? And
they still do.
That's crazy, man.
Well, for that they do. They'll turn a blind eye to a bunch of other shit, but right now it's all political bias is what makes the final decision.
Yeah, like stealing people's property, as long as it's less than $1,000.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and what it also comes down to is that, for example, it was a lot easier to get things during what we call the bullet button era, which is from 2005 to 2015. And the bullet button was a device invented by a guy by the name of Darren Prince, or also known as the Prince 50 or Darren's Firearms. And it dealt with, well, it'd take me forever to bust it out, because I still have mine. It's nothing more than a novelty. They're not even installed on my arms anymore, because I can't have it on there, because otherwise it wouldn't be legal. But during that time period, it was legal, and involved where the magazine release would be. It would usually be like a hole of some kind, like such, and you could use a cartridge. You could use or anything that could be seen as a tool. That was the definition, and that would function as your mag release. And granted, you could have what the state defines as all the evil features, which is everything that you guys, might, I'm just going to say, take it for granted. I mean, all joking included.
I mean, I think it's well,
we were still limited to 10 rounders or 10 round mags, unless you had your rifle or your pistol or whatever registered as an assault weapon, and then you could use standard capacity mags that were grandfathered. But even then, it still wasn't worth it. So state didn't like that. They took it away. We still have the option of what we call magazine lock or magazine or mag lock 2.0, whereas it has to involve the separation of the action of the gun, so it can't fire, and it has to be in a quote-unquote open position, which is why it's more common with ARs then
Like shotgunning the upper up, doing something.
well, unless it's an AR style shotgun, yeah. Which is why, well, I mean, I mentioned to you, I had a Keltec or a Keltec Sub 2000. We discussed it in the Discord. And the reason why I got rid of it is because it actually had the second gen maglock on it, so it had all the evil features, but it was so cumbersome that I had to wear gloves in order to use it because it was cutting my fingers and my hands, and it wasn't worth it. So I just said screw it, and I sold it. And it wasn't even worth having as a featureless rifle either. And you might be asking, what the hell is a featureless rifle? Well, I can give you an example. If I get this thing up, I have my tablet right here. Show you what that might look like. So if you bear with me for a second, I'm going to unlock this.
I'm going to grab something while you pull that up. Hold on.
And I don't know if everybody's going to be able to see this, but I'll try and do the best I can. This is one example of a rifle that I rock. And you might be asking, what is that hideous thing right there where the pistol grip should be? Or,
You mean
right there, for example. That is a Strike Industries Megafin. And if you look even closer, you can even see that odd-looking safety. And how that safety works is it works similar to an AK. And I just flick that, and it allows me to essentially have a working safety that I don't have to reach with my left hand. I just knocked that out. There we go. Where if I'm holding it like this, I don't have to reach up, hit the safety, and then go back and have my reestablish my grip.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's worked really good for me. And as you saw with some of those other things, it didn't have the pistol grip. It have a retracting stock. I have what's known as a stock stop, which is made by Strike Industries. And it's just nothing more than a little rubber track, or it's a little rubber plug that blocks the track on the position. So it just stays in place. And then angle grips are not considered pistol grips or forward grips. So I can have that. I don't have a flash hider. I just have a Fox suppressor or a Fox fake suppressor, fake can on it.
Yeah.
And no bayonet plug, no flash hider, no. I think I mentioned that. No grenade launcher, no flare launcher.
So you couldn't even put a 37 millimeter on there if you wanted to?
Nope. Not without a mag lock. And even that would still be questionable.
Wow.
And another example I can give would be let's see if I can get this pulled up, would be an AK, which is this one right here.
See, cut the light. I think that's covering up some of the coolest parts here. There you go. Beautiful. Yeah, much more clear.
It has a Strike Industries Megafin on it as well. It has the muzzle brake on it, and
that's permanently affixed as
everything's permanently affixed. Yeah.
Oh God.
Non collapsing stock. So, but it's better than nothing. That's kind of what my attitude is. And
and you can run standard capacity mags in those.
Legally, I can run standard cap mags as of this moment, but and those mags had to have been legally acquired during that specific time period.
Yeah.
Which mine were. So at least in that configuration, I can at least be able to defend myself, and hopefully do it without blowing my eardrums out in the process, because I can't have a suppressor.
That's so crazy. No NFA items at all out there, right?
None. The closest to that would have been, the Shoreboo Shorty would have been one example, and the other example might be like the Taurus Judge, but the Judge would have to have a pistol grip permanently affixed to it, so it would be considered a shotgun. And so that was one other option. But for the most part, yeah, you can't have an NFA item. For this point, you can't even have a fucking AR pistol unless
Well, I would say, I'm sorry.
unless it was grandfathered.
I would say that if anybody else out there has a Serbu Super Shorty, those things are remarkable firearms. And I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Mark Serbu in the flesh, and I always liked them, but that was one of the reasons why I purchased one. And if you can you still get one out there? Maybe.
To my knowledge, I think you still can, but you have to go to a level 7. There aren't as many as there were because a lot have shuttered their doors, and they either left the state, sold their business, and retired, or they just took their business and still left the state, but moved it to a gun friendly state because California's doing everything it can to put all FFLs out of business.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like that's what they want. They want to make it so difficult for people to, and it would be just as easy for these FFLs and for these, easy for these FFLs and these manufacturers and these people to leave. But I mean, what happens then? All these people are unarmed.
Essentially,
And
yeah.
all these people don't, it makes it that much more difficult. So I imagine those types of people also are making a point, taking a stand to stay. But man, like,
Yeah.
that's just sad, dude.
I can't even buy ammo like I used to. I have to.
You have to do a background check now, right?
Yeah, I have to, and that's per box. So if I want to buy ammo, I have to go to an FFL or what they call an ammo vendor. I have to undergo a background check, and there's different types of background checks. It's fucking stupid. Some guys or some people have even been denied just because of issues with the system that the sons of bitches in Sacramento have left in place on purpose. And they pretty much they create a permanent record, and it's categorized with the damn DOJ. And what else can I tell you? They keep it, and you're pretty much SOL. So
everybody make sure that you take 10, 20, 30 rounds and send it directly just kidding. If that's illegal, just kidding.
No, it's illegal. You can't even bring ammo from out of state.
Yeah, guys, don't do that. Don't send it to P.O. Box number. Just kidding. Sorry. Bad joke. Well, damn. So, like, pistols, I imagine, are similar.
Same thing with pistols.
They count features?
They do, actually, yeah.
Traditional handguns?
Traditional handguns, like your pistol or your revolver.
Yeah.
Pretty much all wheel guns are, at this moment, are still exempt, but they're on a grandfathered status. So any new pistol that was made after 2013, like for example the HK VP9, throw out some other ones to me. The Glock Gen 4, Gen 5, the SIG P320. What was it? What other one? Just
even like this,
Smith and like, or Smith for that, or I'm sorry, or for that matter, anything's made by Smith and Wesson or Ruger. I can't even get the Smith and Wesson MMP, you name it, except for the Gen 1 MMP Shield, the MMP, or not even the MMP, the SDV9 or whatever the hell it was, 9 and 40.
Yeah, the Sigma and the SD.
And the only Ruger pistol I can get is the LC380. That's it, because they're all off the roster.
Dude, the craziest thing is when I saw, and I think it was actually Reno May, I saw a short that he did. Maybe it was a traditional video, but basically he was like, the SIG 320s are not on the safe roster. So for those of you that weren't following, like the safe firearms mean that they are allowed to purchase them if they can find them, and if they can find them for a reasonable price. Then they're allowed to purchase them. allowed to. It bothers me just saying that, but
Yep. There's a backlog right now for
then,
6 months to a year if you want a specific pistol because they're not keeping them in stock. One exception might be Glocks.
Then like the police force was like all issued 320s. It's like, hold on,
Yep.
the state just said these were all not safe. So if they're not safe, why are the Leos allowed to carry? Like it's
Because the
crazy.
damn union. They carved themselves an exemption for supporting all these stupid ass laws. So they're exempt from it. And at the Leo or there's some state workers and some other folks that are exempt from the damn roster. They can pay regular price for an off-roster pistol or handgun, if you will, of any kind. And they can sell it to us peasants, but we'll have to pay like 10 times the price. So like I mentioned in the Discord, if I wanted to get an MP 2.0, say like an MP 9 or 40 or what have you, they might go for what, 500-600 in your area. I could pay anywhere from 1,500 to up to 2,000.
Oh my god!
And there are people who are crazy enough they'll spend it. There was a guy who I can't even remember what it was. You can think of a CZ Scorpion pistol, like the one you got.
Yeah.
Even had the brace and everything on it. Had what was known as a fixed mag. Look up Maglatch USA, and it'll explain to you what they are. But pretty much means that the magazine is permanently affixed in the gun, and you can't release it under any circumstance without disassembling it.
Yeah.
And I saw it on Arms List.
Mm-hmm.
And within 2 days, it was gone. But the guy was asking like $3 or $4 grand for it, and somebody bought it.
God. Do you know how much I complained when I paid $7.99 for that Scorpion?
Oh, my heart breaks for you. Do you know how much a fucking Scorpion out here is going now for? 1,500, and that's in a rifle configuration.
Which those are actually excellent firearms.
Oh, they're excellent. I wanted one. I wish I would have gotten one earlier, but I just didn't have the money saved up for it. And
yeah.
Well, I missed the ship, or the ship sailed on that one. Also, too, they also have to go through all these special distributors because there again, the stock has to be pinned in place. It can't retract. It can't fold. They have to put a Kydex wrap, or we call it a grip condom. But so you can't wrap your thumb around it, and it has to be at least over 30 inches. So it can't be compact anyway unless it's a pistol. And there's some other, it can't have any of the evil features, and there's probably some other details that I'm forgetting. But it's just, it's a lot more difficult now to get stuff than it used to be.
Armitage made a great point. He said, because a lot of people are talking about how important voting is, and Armitage said, if voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it.
Voting doesn't matter in California. Gavin Newsom, they say that son of a, I got the right to say it, so I can say it. That son of a bitch, Gaylord Newsom is what we call him. They say he got anywhere from 70 to 80% of the damn vote, which is an outright lie. Larry Elder won. That's the consensus, at least everyone that I've spoken to. And yet there are so many examples of voter fraud going on. I mean, the same shit that they did to Trump, they did to him out here. And I was expecting it. I was praying for otherwise, but it still happened. And as a result of that, there were people that were going to vote. And of course, they had the Dominion electronic voting machines. And yeah, you're sorry if your stream got demonetized, but well, you won't take one for the team to get the truth out.
But yeah, this is more important than that. The problem is that when they do that to the streams, they won't put it out there. Like, it won't be in recommended videos. It won't be in, and that's the same exact thing that we're talking about right here, right? Like, they're controlling the flow of information to people. Where people don't know that it costs $2 grand to get a pistol out there, and you have to wait 6 to 12 months. Like, that's crazy.
Well, you have to wait 10 days. You can buy it. You have to go do it. You can buy a handgun, but first you have to have your purchase permit. You have to pass like a stupid 25 question test in order to get it, and they have a bunch of trick questions on there that are from the far left narrative. So if you answer those correctly, they actually count it against you, which is what happened to me. But I still got my license or my permit, so they can kiss my ass. That's number one. Number two, find out what you want. You're only limited to, you can only get one firearm per month. You have to wait 10 days before you can pick it up, and even once you picked it up, you have to still be sure that you're within a specific window or a time period. It's usually 30 days after your gross clears. The gross is a dealer record of sale. That's on top of the state background check, the federal background check, and then of course all that goes straight to the California DOJ to be archived. So they pretty much have a registry. So everything that you can think of that would be paranoid, or the state would define as paranoid delusion. I mean, it's happening out here, and it's been happening for at least the last 2 to 3 decades. I was too young or what have you. I didn't even know about it until I started getting into it and learning how difficult it was. So a lot of the anti-gun lies that were being fed to us as a citizenry were, there was this out. They all eventually were proven to be lies. And
what kind of things were they saying?
That a gun can magically go off on its own, or it's what's responsible for hurting people. And they even had a stupid ass question on the test saying that anyone who owns a gun is more likely to, have a much more instance for a suicide rate. And when I saw that question, I answered no, because it's just a bunch of bunk.
Yeah.
But then, of course, they're like, "Oh no, you got that question wrong." I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm serious. I know it's a BS question, but it's a type of propaganda that the state's pushing out because they don't want people to exercise their damn rights."
Yeah, these are like opinion questions. These aren't even questions based on factual information or data.
Well, you guys think the ATF is bad? Try dealing with the California DOJ.
Dude, what's up, Safeline? Good to see you. Sorry.
That's all good. But
yeah, that's crazy, man. I knew it was bad, but I did not know that it was that bad. Like,
I think it's even better than that. The California DOJ has its own little little task force that's whole purpose is to go out and seize people's firearms. And that's their whole damn purpose. They are the definition of a jack thug, or of a yes man, or I'm just following orders. There's also the fact too that the damn state has been, through executive fiat, expanding they call it a GVRO, gun violence restraining order. To you guys, it's known as a red flag. And it's gotten so out of control that now that even if you have say you have a caring neighbor, or just somebody who hates your guts, they can put in a false claim. You'll lose all your arms. And this is the thing. They just won't take your damn guns. If you have swords, if you have axes, crossbows, bows and arrows, they'll even take your damn kitchen knives.
I was going to jokingly say.
No, they fucking take your shit.
Dude, that's crazy.
They'll even take your damn baseball bat if they judge it to be used as a weapon. They'll take your crowbar. They'll take any tools that you have. They will confiscate them right then on the spot. And because I've seen examples of that actually playing out, and I was actually laughing at it. It was almost like, I was having me a Joker moment, because it's so damn serious. You can't help but laugh at it. And
yeah, you have to.
It's just, man, and it can happen at any time. You won't know, because you don't get any notification that a red flag was served on you until it's too fucking late. And chances are good you'll never get your shit back. It'll just sit in an evidence locker for the rest of its life, or it'll eventually just simply be destroyed.
I actually had that happen in Virginia. I had a Glock 26 that was taken from me, and I was under the age of 21, and I was transporting it. Um,
Yep.
and a lot of cops don't, like, they can't comprehend. No, you have to be 21 years old to buy that. Yeah, but you're allowed to own it and
Yeah.
transport it and whatever. So cop ended up taking it. I did not get charged, but it ended up being booked into evidence. And for years, I called. I threatened legal action. All this shit. I had my lawyer send a letter, which I actually had to pay for, and they still didn't release
Mhm.
it to me. They said that the officer that actually seized it had to sign that he agreed that it should be released back to me, and
Yeah, exactly.
he was no longer working in that type of. I guess like he had been like, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
demoted or something like that. And one day when I did my monthly call, they were like, "Oh, it's been destroyed." I was like, "Dude, like, what about all the ammo?" Oh, they destroy that before it's even brought into evidence. It's like, oh my
Oh,
god, like.
destroyed. Yeah, destroyed. Yeah, right. They probably what they ended up doing was they probably took it out their range and shot it off, and probably they probably sold the damn Glock to a bunch of cartels. For all you know,
For real, honestly, I mean, like,
hell,
what?
there've been cops out here convicted of that shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like, dude, the what you're describing, like, just to get a typical semi-auto handgun, like, that is what I would need to go through to get a machine gun.
That's just to get a Glock Gen 3
Yeah,
insert name.
like that's crazy.
And if you want to get a Glock Gen 4 or 5, you can get it, but you're going to pay 3 times the amount because it's considered an off-roster handgun and it'll be used. You can't get them brand new.
Yeah, I don't know what the best way to say this
The
is.
damn state has been any exemptions. Well, they call them loopholes. The very fact that the stuff I just showed you, the state would regard that as me. Oh, I found a loophole that needs to be closed. Where in reality, there is a consensus, specifically in the free states, that oh well, you Californians are pussies, and you don't, you all you do is comply, blah blah blah. It's called ingenuity. It's called finding a way around it because. And Will the Daily Shooter said something that I fully concurred with. Compliance is non-compliance. True compliance is they don't want me having arms. They don't want me being armed. They want me to be 100% defenseless and begging for mercy if some jackass tries to break into my place or my house or tries to injure me or my family or any of that shit. And God forbid if I'd had to defend myself, then I'm most likely going to be the one prosecuted because, oh, the violent offender who was trying to hurt me is the victim. That's the fucking mentality. Now, granted, where I'm at, that may not be the case because this is still pretty much a red county, which is no hard to believe, but it is true. But at the same time, when I say compliance is on compliance, that's just it. Because I'm still exercising my rights and I'm having to weave my way through their little restrictions. And that just pisses them off to no end. So
Yeah,
that's just one way. If there's one way to be a thorn in their side, there's actually ways to do it, and there's still legal ways to do it. You just have to know how to
yeah,
play the damn game. And yeah, it is a game, but it's a dangerous game.
yeah. I mean,
But, but
I gotta be honest. I'd have a really tough time. I do believe that peaceful noncompliance is, the best way to beat legislation.
yep,
And at the same time, the majority of the state is against you. The majority of the leadership is against you.
the
I mean,
entire leadership is against us. I
yeah,
have no representation here.
everything is stacked against you, man. That's a shame, dude.
And another thing too is, and this is one example I thought you might find really amusing, just for the sake of argument, is I was kind of given a hard time about Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory, and I mean, they don't sponsor me or anything like that. This is just purely my opinion as a consumer. They are actually pretty damn awesome because they at least try to find ways around some of the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. They even created a specific set of AR pistol that we actually could legally buy, called the Franklin Armory CA7.
Yeah,
which was a bolt action, pretty much what it is. It was a bolt action AR pistol, only one we can get. And only downside is once you get it, it's technically, and there again, it kind of falls back to that gray zone that I mentioned earlier on about the the single shot exemption. Excuse me. That was a thing not that long ago, up until 2014. You could have gotten a off-roster handgun or pistol, revolver, etc. You could have converted it from a semi-auto temporarily to a single shot, done your paperwork, waited the 10 days, then convert it back. Once you get it in your name and your possession, you could have legally converted it back to a semi-auto. And it would have, if there was a AR pistol, AK pistol, etc., it would have needed a bullet button to be compliant. But then after they repealed that and they banned the bullet button, we couldn't even do that anymore unless we wanted it to register as an AW. There's also, and when it comes to the CA7, the Franklin Armory pistol or AR pistol that I mentioned,
mm-hmm.
I don't even know if SSC 2.0 is even an option for that because there's so much misinformation about doing it legally.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't even willing to take the chance. So, I mean, yeah, you can get a bolt action AR pistol and you can maybe throw an upper on it that's semi-auto, but for all you know, you're committing a damn felony. So
yeah, they make it as gray and challenging as
it is.
As possible.
It is.
I'm trying to find something that I found that was designed exclusively for California.
Mm-hmm. Actually, don't mind. I'm gonna turn the camera off and I'm gonna drink some water because my throat's getting hoarse.
No, you're good. Go ahead, man.
I can still hear you just fine though.
All right, cool. You'll still be able to see this. I'm gonna share a screen real quick.
If you want, go to type in. There's a gun shop out here, and I'll give you an example of what we got to deal with. It's called Wild A Firearms, based out of San Diego, and they show California arms that we can legally acquire.
Oh god.
Wild A Tactical, that's what they're called. Wild A Tactical. WILDE Tactical.
Wild A Tactical?
Yeah, wild with an E.
Oh, gotcha.
Tactical.
N9ne, California, yep. Wild built tactical.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to share that via screen with the audience.
Yeah, let me switch this real quick. Oh, that's like the Yelp page. Hang on, I'll find it. Yeah, I got it pulled up. Let me show this real quick just before I.
With the Cali key.
Yeah, and the
Nice. Oh, I miscounted how many rounds I had. That actually worked. Okay, there you go. Hey, thanks for tuning in.
So, I'm looking for the short. Let me see. I don't know if that actually.
Yep, the Cali key right there.
Is that?
That's one example on Warrior Poet. Yeah.
Cali key. Okay. I'm trying to find this one particular short.
Yeah, that's the AR maglock right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a literal 58-second video, and it's just gives a perfect breakdown of exactly like what it is, and essentially what it is yeah, this is a shorter video. I'll just click on this. But it turns your AR into a
It's just like a bolt action
Hey everyone,
rifle,
it's Ivan,
essentially.
bolt. Yep.
Badger.com, here today to bring
And
you
you
another
can
gear
also,
today.
if
Talking
needed,
about
if
this guy
things
right
went
here,
crazy,
which is the Kali key.
and rule of
Let's go ahead
law
and start
was
with
no
the
longer,
what and the why. So what is
an
this?
issue,
Basically,
you
it
could
is
yank
a
that shit out,
drop-in
toss it,
bolt
and
carrier
drop in a
setup.
standard
So you have a bolt
bolt
carrier
carrier
right
and
here.
charging handle. If
Gas
needed.
key is actually machined out for this charging handle. And this index is in here. What it does is turns your semi-automatic rifle or pistol into basically a single shot bolt action. You're like, what? Why? Sounds stupid. It does kind of sound stupid, but in fairness, it's genius.
What a great
It just
ad
happens to be in response
video.
to really stupid laws.
It sounds really
Think about different
stupid.
states where one, basically it's getting harder and harder to own a legit functioning AR. Elegant solution. Or maybe you're in a state where it's illegal to hunt with a semi-automatic.
Yeah, and think about this though, guys. Okay, so yeah, it may appear to be stupid. Okay, but let's say that you did not have to keep your rifle featureless with the Strike Industries freaking blade shit on the grip, and all the other shit that you have to do to make sure you're compliant. And all you had to do was drop in a removable bolt carrier group and charging handle, and if things went really bad and whatever, and the rule of law didn't apply, you could just take shit out, chuck it, and drop in a real BCG and charging, a traditional BCG and charging handle. That's all I'm saying. I thought that was creative because it is a removable, you guys get it. You guys understand. Okay, so Wild Custom Gear, Wild Bill Tactical, California Gun, San Diego. Okay. Oh, this is going to be good. Okay.
You're probably all going to laugh.
Oh, shit.
Trying to get my goggles back on. They're not cooperating.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, you look like Print, Shoot, Repeat. Which
Yeah, actually kind of helped inspire the look.
He will be coming on our show in November, just so you guys know. I have a bunch of really great guests coming up over the next month or so. I got the guy Sober Dogs. I got Print, Shoot, Repeat, Cody Wilson. I got a couple viewer guests also. Just really great people. Okay, so we have a Diamondback DB15 with an extra 16-inch upper. Why would you need an extra upper it's for $1,000? What is there like a legal reason, or is it just an added benefit that there's?
Well, it could probably be the fact that they're doing it as a means to, I don't know, one could actually be one where they didn't install the gas tube and it's semi, and the other one's well, how am I trying to say this? Well, it could be factory bolt action. The other one may be semi-auto configuration once they just swap out the uppers. It can also be too that it could be different calibers.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that's the first time I've seen that one. But if you really want to see some interesting stuff, they don't really show it on the Tavor. Keep going down. Go look at the. I think it's a Smith & Wesson M&P. It's to your right.
Right here, Smith & Wesson M&P 9.
M&P 15. Actually, I think it's both. That might be. It's a little small. I can't. Oh yeah, it's M&P 15.
Oh, it's M&P 10. It's a 308.
Okay. Well, it'll look the same whether it's a 308 or 5.56.
$11.39. Jesus.
Yeah, they charge for a premium out here.
So fixed stock. Looks like there may be a threaded muzzle, but that's probably permanently affixed.
Well,
on
it's a
there.
gray area. Some rifles can be sold with a fixed or can be sold with a threaded. Can have a threaded barrel. Some can't. It kind of just falls into that gray zone.
Depending on the other features.
Yeah, well, the thing that's the thing though that does fall in the definition of a pistol. You can't have a pistol or a handgun of any kind with a threaded barrel because it can take a suppressor.
What?
So every and that's the thing that's kind of asinine because you legally can own a threaded barrel, but you can't install it into the handgun unless you're in a different state, or what you can do is you can have a muzzle brake permanently affixed to it, but by doing that, then you can't disassemble the handgun or your pistol, essentially.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
That's pretty much it as far as those things go, because it has to be pin and welded. With a rifle, it's kind of in the gray.
So this has the featureless type grip, 10 round or less magazine, fixed stock, no bayonet lug. You can tell because they changed the gas block on there.
Yep.
And what else am I missing? Maybe threaded barrel, maybe not. Is there anything else I'm missing on it?
Flash hider, of course. The grenade launcher. Can't have a silencer. Can't have the folding telescoping stock. Can't have the pistol grip, the forward grip.
Do they think that like all guns come with grenade launchers or something?
Yes, they do.
Dirt said that just killed my boner.
They pretty much think that anything that has all the features that I mentioned and magically, just to put it in California perspectives, the damn legislature pretty much thinks it makes it magically into a machine gun. So
which part?
Oh, easy. If I were to take that 308 and it had either just something as simple as a regular Magpul grip, or that stock could go back and forth, then that's what the state would consider it a machine gun in that definition.
2880U. Thank you, brother. Number one, good to see you in the chat and listening. I know you're lurking sometimes. Support and love to you. You too, brother. Thank you for what you do too. And we're talking about a dude that is like behind enemy lines in California, going over like what they have to do to comply with the laws in California, and it is crazy. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you in the super chat, man. Much love to you.
Yeah, I don't know if you can even see me.
Yeah, I don't think. Let's see. Hang on.
There we go. My light's dying. Okay, let me go on ahead and I'll just leave it there.
A little bit. When it's small, it's just a black screen. Stay strong, California, and all of you too. Thank you, brother.
I mean, if you want to pull up a video, you can find it on YouTube. It was a really good one. It was short. It was like maybe only 2 minutes, and it was of a guy explaining the differences between a featureless rifle and a mag-locked rifle. And he pretty much gave the best example that I can give. It's a dated one because it still features the bullet button, but the general concept from the bullet button still applies, which is only now you have to break the action.
Yeah.
But it would help illustrate what I'm talking about, since I can't demonstrate it for obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course. And just really quickly, a couple of people had asked, they don't understand the fin, the Strike Industries, the Kydex over the grip. So guys, think about it like this. Without that fin on the grip, it is considered a pistol grip that you can wrap your thumb around, which is evil. Okay. To them, guns that are not evil are guns like hunting rifles, where you have, your hand on the right side of the action, and you pull. You're not, in an evil way grabbing it like a pistol grip. It doesn't truly make sense, y'all. The thing is that it's just making it more difficult for the end user. That's basically it.
You got to understand too is that the law that made this crap up, it was passed all the way back in 1989. So they rammed it through. They were coming up with the concepts for this crap back in the 80s.
That's crazy.
And things just aren't only banned by feature; they're also banned by name as well. So, for example, I can't get an Arsenal SLR anything.
What?
Yeah, the Arsenal SLR rifles are banned by name in California. Yet I can get the one I showed you was my Sam 7. Which
I had an SLR 95 back in the day. Those are incredible.
No,
firearms.
You can't get the SLR rifles. You can't get anything that is that has traditional names like the Colt AR, the original Colt AR-15. Anything that's made with Kalashnikov in it.
Jesus.
There are some dealers out here that won't even accept transfers of the Kalashnikov USA KR-103, for example. Even if it's put in a featureless configuration, because it has Kalashnikov in the fucking name. Kalashnikov USA even made a version for us called the Cali 9, and you can look that up and you'll see what I'm talking about. You think that rifle's hideous? Just wait till you see the Cali 9. I mean, I think it looks good.
What was the first video was it the California featureless rifle?
California featureless rifle versus bullet button rifle. Okay. I haven't seen any videos that demonstrate the mag lock, but do
you remember who it was by?
Unfortunately, I don't.
So there's one that says assault weapon versus featureless rifle, the daily shooter. Featureless rifle options, AR-15s in California, everything you need to know. That's Reno May.
Reno's pretty good explaining it. The thing is, his videos are long. How long is the Daily Shooter's video?
Daily Shooter is 6 minutes, 58 seconds.
Yeah, let's go and give that one a go. He was pretty good about explaining it when he was living here. That probably know might be a more recent video. Shit.
Let's see.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's a Daily Shooter, and I'm out here today to show you guys the difference between a California assault weapon.
So just to take, quick note, we're viewing someone else's content strictly to, have a conversation about this. So this is fair use. So, Mr. Daily Shooter, if you get an alert that I am, making a copyright infringement or whatever on your stuff, I'm sorry, we're just watching
and a featureless rifle.
Will's pretty straightforward though in his videos. I mean, I don't know him personally, but he's always been pretty. He's been a pretty fair guy, at least on when it comes to his content. I could be wrong because maybe he might have changed his policies, but he's always been straightforward. I don't think he would have any problem with you doing this for demonstrative purposes because you're trying to get the word out.
Yeah, he probably wants the information out there as much.
He does want the information. He still covers stuff for California.
Show you how uninformed and ignorant the politicians are that actually made these laws. Okay, this right here is what's considered now by California state law to be an assault weapon. It has a pistol grip, an adjustable buttstock, and a bullet button. I've had this since before January 1st of 2017, so technically as of the time of this video, it is grandfathered in. I don't ever plan on registering it. I'm going to make this one featureless eventually, but as it sits right now, it's an assault weapon. This is considered a featureless rifle. It has a featureless grip on it from Strike Industries. I'll put a link in the description box to that as well. And it has a stock lock on it from Cross Armory. So the stock is locked and I have a featureless grip. You can see here that the rifles look very similar. They both have compensators, nice handguards, red dots, 1030 magazines. I mean, they're almost similar, but there is one big difference. The evil assault weapon
So 1030 means there are 30 round magazines that
Here,
are
that
that are blocked to only accept 10, just in case people aren't aware.
California politicians say is so dangerous that it belongs only in the field of battle. With its bullet button, requires a tool to remove the magazine. Okay, I have to take a bullet or some other tool, put it in a little hole in order to drop my magazine, and that is how that functions. This evil assault weapon, just like that. But if I put a featureless grip and I lock the stock on that one, magazine comes right out of my featureless rifle. To me, that is just the most, it's the most nonsensical thing you can possibly imagine. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to demonstrate and show you exactly how both of these rifles actually work. And we're going to do some shooting between the two. I have two mags loaded up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the assault weapon, the horrible, evil assault weapon.
Why it's echoing, I have no
Show you
idea.
exactly how that works.
Oh, you know what? That's me. It's echoing through my mic. I apologize, guys. And I have a quick question. You don't have to answer it now, but at the end we can hit it. When you get pulled over by police, are they as hip to the laws as they should be? And you don't have to answer it now, but yeah, I'll let this play.
And we'll switch over to the featureless rifle. Okay, so again, we're going to start off with the California assault weapon. This is the rifle right here that the politicians and lawmakers of this state would consider to be more dangerous than the featureless rifle, which is on the ground next to me. This is the rifle right here that they feel is more intended for the military and law enforcement, okay? Civilians shouldn't have anything this dangerous. But remember, again, it has a bullet button. So when I'm done with this magazine and I switch out to my next magazine, I'm going to have to get a tool to push in there in order to release that. I have another magazine here, my Wilder Tactical Mag Pouch. We're going to go ahead and send these down range. And then in the comments section, you guys can tell me what you think about these laws and the politicians that created them that have no idea what they're doing. So let's go ahead and get started and send some rounds down range. You tell me what you think. Again, this is a California assault weapon.
And we needed that stupid thing anyway to prevent it from becoming an assault weapon.
Okay. Magazine's empty. Grab a bullet. Grab my magazine. That's right, I need another bullet. Well, there you go. That's 20 rounds out of a California assault weapon. And look, I can even move this in and make it closer, just in case I wanted to be real scary with it. All right, so let's go ahead, put this on the ground.
See, they don't
change out our magazines to
that
5.56.
The stock being adjustable is for comfort.
All right, when you're dealing with 300 blackout, and 223, you always want to make sure that you are working with the correct ammunition because they will chamber. So you want to be safe. Oh, look at that. I took the magazine out of my featureless weapon, which is less dangerous than the other one, without having to need a tool. Okay, now here we go. Featureless rifle. This one's less dangerous than the other one. Yeah, that seems a lot less dangerous. A lot less dangerous to me. For those people that were wondering, the reason that I switched it over was because a lot of people say that you cannot shoot this thing left-handed. I'm not a lefty, so it's really freaking awkward for me to switch it. You know, it's something I've been practicing on, but still, I wanted to show you that, yeah, you can actually shoot this thing left-handed. So that was 2 magazines, one from an assault weapon, one from a featureless rifle. You tell me, is that not the most ridiculous thing ever? You can't have a flash hider because, you know, brightness, right? That's real scary. You can't have a flash hider. No vertical foregrips because, you know, holding on to it, that's no good. We don't want to have to hold on to it in a way that's easier for somebody. No pistol grip because damn comfort. Damn comfort. Comfort shouldn't matter. So, you know, we got this little blade on the back and then an adjustable buttstock. Well, you know, if you think that you want to get a little closer or maybe 5 inches further away, hell no. Assault weapon. That's what they're basically telling you. So by locking the magazine, putting on this stupid grip, I got a standard mag release and a rifle that, to be honest with you, is more effective than the one that they consider to be the most dangerous out of the two. That's how ridiculous California laws and California politicians are. They don't even understand what the hell they're doing. Okay, but there's a reason why they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand, they don't care that they don't understand what they're doing, because the whole purpose is to ban these things anyway. So they figure, well, incremental steps, as long as we baby step it on the way to a complete ban, then people won't be as up in arms as they would if we were just to take little snippets at a time. They don't care if it's right or wrong. They just want the guns, okay? That's why. So anyway, that's the difference right there, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. California assault weapon, California featureless rifle. Leave your comments in the comment section. Have a great day.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, clearly it's like this. All of this was done. All of this was created to make it as difficult as possible for people to have access to items like this, and it makes it a wealthy game. It makes it a game of just like stupid bullshit details that make no true impact. And we dealt with it too, you know, as a country from 94 to 04, right? Like, but at least then they, you know, grandfathered items in. Like,
well, the California one was the one that passed in '99 was the blueprint for what they did in '94.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, y'all. It's like their goal is to have these little test areas. They're Californias, they're New York, and I feel for you, brother. Like,
New York actually only became bad within the last 10 years. They could even own a fully featured rifle up until, what was it, 2012, 2013, because they passed the SAFE Act.
Yeah.
I think they were limited to 15 rounds too, but I could be wrong on that. I won't set foot in New York.
XX says, we specialize in getting almost any rifle into CA legally. Wild Built Tactical.
I'll give them credit. They do. I got a few things from them over the years.
Yeah.
You just got to pay to play. That's what it comes down to. And it gets really expensive.
Yeah. Man, that's nuts, dude. So, plans for the future. Are you planning on sticking around? Are you planning on, you know, like what's your game plan?
You know what? Actually, it's all kind of up in the air right now. What it comes down to right now is if I'm able to get the experience I need in order to be able to get a job, because I don't have the on-hand experience. I just have the book knowledge, the certifications, because it all got shut down when when the pandemic started. The whole academic program I was a part of was shut down. So, and it's still shut down to this day. So, for the time being, unless a miracle happens or I get an offer out of state, or I'm able to get my another business I've been working on up and going, I'm pretty much up a creek without a paddle. My end goal long term is to get out. I don't know which state I'm going to go to. Texas has been kind of high on my radar. Idaho has been high. Utah, a few other states.
Yeah.
But
do you want to touch on like generally speaking, what kind of work you do, just in case there's anyone out there that may be able to help you? If
well,
not,
right now, I'm a certified sterile processing technician, which is an entry-level position to get into a hospital or a medical facility. We specialize in pretty much reprocessing or the cleaning of instruments so they can be reused in procedures or surgical procedures.
Like ultrasonic, autoclaves, like shit like that.
Yeah. There's an additional certification I was looking at getting, but it's not going to be available till the end of the year. So I just kind of where I'm at right now. Beyond that, I'm trying to get a small studio built, which is I'm actually in the process of doing right now. It's where all my stuff was in the other room when we were talking. I had to kind of do an emergency setup.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to get my website and my portfolio reorganized so that I can start showing off my artwork again. And I'm kind of do that under a different name because I don't really want to associate it with my radical far left or far right, extremist KKK,
Oh,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah identity,
So
which is all
extreme.
not true anyway, but you get what I'm saying. All sarcasm
of
intended.
course. Yeah. You got to find if you don't find the little bit of humor in it, then you'll just go crazy.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to lie, man. It's been really difficult for me to keep my sanity. I've kind of developed a bit of a Deadpool style humor. It's the only way I've been able to keep doing what I've been doing, if you will.
I would guess that you're not the only one, and if there is anybody out there that we've been keeping close to 50 people floating in here,
Nice.
throughout the whole time. If there are people out there that do know of or have an opportunity that could help him or possibly could help him even move to another state with some more freedom, that would be awesome. That's what our community is for: bringing people together, helping people.
Well, I greatly appreciate that, man. There's one, I will say this on a personal note. Apathy has kind of really been on the rise out here. There's definitely been a massive issue, especially over the last 5 to 10 years of, I guess Dark might have dropped off for a second. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Anyways.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right, man.
It's easy to accidentally click the back button.
Okay, I thought they were throttling you.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying because it's Silicon Valley. But anyway,
apathy.
Apathy. It's kind of been it's your problem. How do I just, it's your problem, not mine. Sucks to be you kind of an attitude. It's kind of been kind of pervasive out here, and there again, it wasn't like that with me growing up, but it does kind of give me at least a little sense of comfort to know that it's still out there and that not everybody is, turned into
BLM.
Pretty much, yeah. Or Antifa.
Yeah.
Or any of those others for that matter.
Which they're like honored out there. Right? They're like damn near royalty, right?
Yeah, well, prime example, when the riots started breaking out last year, the funny thing is they came here and they tried to start a ruckus more than once, and we threw their asses out.
Damn.
Thank God. I'll give my local law enforcement that credit. They didn't, especially the sheriffs, they didn't put up with that shit. And a lot of local militia got together as well. I pretty much was just standing guard at my parents' house, just being sure that nothing was going to happen. And nothing did. It was just quiet through most of the time. They learned their damn lesson.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it just, it can be depressing. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. It can be very depressing, and it can be very, it can be really hard sometimes not to just give into despair, which is what the far left wants, and I just won't give them the satisfaction.
Well, I got to be honest. I think though I do believe that the right and the left are real things. It was a fake separation and bifurcation of our country to where they take these sets of ideals and then they isolate them, and all of a sudden these two groups of people hate each other. Their values are completely different, and they no longer look at each other as brothers and sisters. And like even people that are of the most extreme left, like I cannot help but to see them as brothers and sisters that are misguided, and that are like, you guys are looking at somebody that voted for Obama on his first term.
Well, I don't know what to tell you there, man.
I
went from McCain.
I was sleeping. I didn't know.
Yep.
And I even said, you know what? He's been vocal about taking firearms, but you know what? I believe that it's worth the potential risk because I believe that
Yep.
this president could do good for our country. And honestly, I'm grateful that I did that because it woke me up and
Uh-huh.
it started the process of me starting to wake up, and I'm grateful for it.
Exactly.
And obviously
Yeah.
I'll catch some shit for that. I mean, I could not even imagine the type of comments that are going to start rolling through, and it. I'm grateful for it, and I'm also grateful for JSD Supply with the SIG 320 grip
Yep.
module. That's not a firearm, by the way. With the slap, man. Let me just really quickly. I just gotta.
No, it's all good.
I just
You want
gotta
actually
show
what I'm
you.
gonna do is I'm gonna take a swig of water again because my throat's dry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I can still hear you though. I'm also gonna stand up and stretch.
Cool. So, SIG 320, RMR cut, suppressor height sights. Dude, JSC Supply is like, God, man, like, that's crazy. If you guys are, so I've never ventured into a 320 build. This is going to be my first 320 build ever, and I'm a little nervous, right? Like I've drilled through metal, worked on AKs, and I've never like punched rivets or anything, but man, like I'm pumped to do this. Like after we get off, I'm gonna have a tough time not starting working on it like right away. um, but shout out to JST Supply, man. Use code DARK if you want to save some money and get free shipping and get all sorts of cool stuff where you can build a SIG 320. Um, and not only did I get that, we got the No Step on Me, the Lego blaster, and also if you guys know the Crumpy belt, coolest patches ever. We also are coming up, as a lot of you guys know, on 2,000 subs, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway for 2,000 subs, and some of the stuff here is going to be included in that. So make sure you stick around. We also are going to have some stuff from Aegis Gun Care that's going to be included too, and just a bunch of cool stuff from the great people that you guys have been able to see and meet on here, and may even throw in something like that. Why not? Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because, like, if this is true, and their intention is to take these geographic test areas. Yeah, I got the jig. I was gonna use Crump's jig, but I was just like, man, there's no way to be certain that I could use Crump's jig, or if it was off from hammering or whatever. So I got the jig with the kit. Man, and if you if you do choose to order anything off of JST Supply, use code DARK. You can save money. And yeah, those are gummies. Those are the Delta 8 gummies, which are completely legal where I live. You can save money and get free shipping. But also, if you want to purchase something from JST Supply and support the channel, we do have an affiliate link where it would give the channel a little bit of channel support if you did choose to do that. So because of YouTube and the way that they do things, I cannot post that here. I cannot post it anywhere or I'll get punched in the dick. So if you email me, I will send you. And thank you guys so much for the people that email me like, yo, I'm ordering something off JSC Supply. Send me the link. And I'm like, bam, here you go. So thank you to all you guys. I really appreciate that. It's really small. It's really small, but everything helps, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you guys, all you guys. Also, we're going to be selling out of patches soon. So if you haven't gotten a glowy patch, make sure you jump in there at Black Swan Tactical. I don't know if
something like this.
Oh, hey yo,
Gotta represent.
nice. Look at that. I may be. Thank you for the support, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I also picked up one of these too because
Oh hell yeah,
I love the. I just sorry this is going on my vest.
dude. That's so cool. I got the FFOA shirt, and I love that. That's awesome.
Gotta
I
represent.
I may do for the giveaway, because there's gonna be some good stuff in this giveaway. I may do it like, I don't know how I would do it to make sure, because John is the only one that has the info to cross reference, but I could get him involved and only have people that have purchased patches be entered in the drawing. Sorry, y'all. I, you know, you got to have our supporters there, but either way, we'll do some stuff that'll involve everyone too. I don't want it to sound like we're doing all this for money, because, like, the money's not. It ain't for the money, y'all. Trust me. Anyway, but dude, I'm super grateful for you coming on and just kind of explaining.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, man, this is truly a look behind enemy lines, man. Jesus.
Yeah, it ain't fun, but it's what it is. There again, my hope is that I'll be able to get resettled someplace else. But it's just all the above. It's emotional, it's practical, economic, and there's just other more personal reasons why I haven't made that jump yet.
Yeah.
And I could at some point, if I as long as Texas and many of the other red states are going the direction they're going in, there's a chance that I may have the option. But at the same time, though, too, I've kind of just, California is going in not the best of directions, and my ultimate concern is I'm just afraid something is probably going to go down before I get out, and it could be something as simple as I'm just setting up barricades, trying to stop people like us from getting out of the state, because I mean they're already trying to do stuff like that as it is. From
Really?
Yeah, well, there have already been the process of passing all types of stupid laws. I mean, how Gaylord Newscum is doing some things right now to where it's what we call his revenge tour, because we dared to try and recall his retarded ass.
Yeah.
And between that and, I mean, shit, the state forced through some weird tax bracket, making it so that if you did try to leave and you got residency in another state, if you made a certain amount, you're still liable for 10 years worth of back taxes.
I heard about
So
that, man.
They call it an exit tax.
It's
And there's other shit they're trying to force down our throats as well. So it's kind of it's just,
that is like dog shit crazy, man.
It is, man. It is. But
I'll say this though: if you do end up in another place, that no matter what, we, as the people that are currently inhabiting the United States of America, the people that are currently here, I don't know if we'll ever truly be free. But if there is a possibility that you could be in a different place where you could, own, at least with, like, from a security standpoint, what you want, and make the money that you want, have the opportunities that you want, and like all the other pieces that need to kind of come together for you to achieve what you want. Like, if it means like not getting hemmed up on some bullshit that's attached to your gun and going to jail for it could be something as simple as that could keep you at least physically free from
well, it just would be nice to be able to walk, to something as simple as going to the range and not having to, look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
not having to worry about if I go to a range, even if it's a private range, and say what you were saying as far as cops are concerned. Well, I tell you, I'm not exactly anti-Leo, but I'm not going to say, but I ain't going to say I trust.
Yeah.
I trust 100% either, because most, as a rule, aren't going to know. So to answer your earlier question, the answer is no. They're not always going to be up on what is currently going on. I mean, heck, I was at the range, the closed indoor range, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was messing with my AR, and this arrogant prick came in, and he was wearing, he was like wearing these, like not aviators, but these weird kind of shades, and he's like, yeah, I'm a Leo, and I demand this discount on this, and just the most condescending arrogance you can imagine. And he gave me a look while I was unloading my AR, and I couldn't help it. I just looked back at him, and I was like, "What?" And I just rolled my eyes and went about my business.
Yeah.
But he might have been up on what's going on, because he didn't try to get me for anything. And I had my 10 rounders. I didn't carry my my standard cat mags with me out of the house. I won't even take the risk. I just go to the range. I use my 10 rounders.
I don't blame you.
I can't even train with my normal ones unless I just do a whole lot of dry firing.
Yeah, they're programming people to comply.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the state actually tried to create its own Stasi agency. I literally named that to have neighbors report on neighbors. I'm just very fortunate that my neighbors, at least around me, tend to think a lot like I do.
What?
So,
Bro,
some luck there, but I tell you, man, it's
that's
the paranoia is real. It's real. So,
well, dude,
it's what it is.
I'm praying that like somebody, because a lot of people watch. We probably got close to 200 people that have already watched the stream, and then we'll
Nice.
probably have another few hundred people watch it. And I'm praying that somebody comes across it that's like, oh my God, I know of an opportunity with that exact profession over here in this beautiful free state. And if somebody does come across an opportunity that we could help N9ne over here, then email me at thedarkestmavis@gmail.com, and we would love to come together to help. I mean, I know a lot of other pieces would have to also come together to get to that point.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of additional components that have to fall into place, but just if nothing else, just to know that there are those out there who would have my back would mean the world to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sport Brand says, toil on and do not lose heart or hope. Let nothing dismay you. You are not utterly forsaken. I too am here in the darkness, waiting, here attentive, here approving of your labor and your dream. Thomas
Amen.
Wolfe. That's awesome, man.
That's awesome, man.
Well,
to see a light at the end of that tunnel would definitely be a massive weight off my shoulders. But you got to dealt the cards you're dealt, and that's just what I have to deal with right now. So, but I'm trying to remain optimistic, and I'm trying not to let it all weigh me down. And I'm not going to lie, man, it's a struggle. Sometimes it's a struggle just to get out of bed in the morning and get things done because of the despair, if you will. Because every day I see something on my YouTube feed, I see something in the news, and if it isn't the damn feds, then it's always the state. Or I see something that LA is doing, and I'm beyond. I'm beyond the point of having my heart broken, because it wasn't like this with me growing up. And on my last personal note, and I'm not afraid to say this publicly, just God did my grandparents a favor, specifically my grandfathers, that they didn't have to be here to see this shit, because it would make them roll in their graves.
Yeah.
Especially my grandfather, who immigrated from Italy to escape the oppression of the fascists, and then to run into his own discrimination, if you will, that he had to suffer at the hands of those who hated Italians.
My grandfather came over from Italy. Is what my great grandfather came over from Italy as well to escape the oppression. Came over to New York, and then
Yep, same thing with my grandfather. He immigrated from through Ellis Island, where my great grandparents did, and then he came out to California during the Second World War, fell in love with it, and stayed. And the rest, as I say, is all history. So they probably got me there again. Third generation, probably 70 to 80, 85 year legacy. But that's what it is.
Well, I know that not only with your situation, with the things that you have to abide by and all that, even just taking this aside from yourself. If you were in, Texas or Tennessee or Virginia or wherever, everything is already set up against us, right? Even just the English language, there are literally more than 10 times the negative words in the English language than there are positive words. There are,
because they're changing the definitions. It's called newspeak for a reason.
Yeah, we're programmed to accept negativity and to be like immune to it, and it's impossible to become immune to this type of shit, man. It's crazy. So if there's anything that I or the community or any of us can do to come together and help support and bring some positivity to, and shit, I'm down, dude.
Well, the moral support right now is more than enough. I'll figure, and I'm not the only one who's in this position, dude. There's a lot of us out here who are kind of stuck like this, and some have already given into the depression, and they've become apathetic. And it sucks, but at the same time, others haven't lost that spirit, and I'm just glad that at least I still have some of those connections. But even then, the wheel of life is constantly turning, and people change. So I guess I can just leave it at that. It's definitely not. It may be too late for California, but it's not too late for the country. And I do believe that 1776 will commence again in some capacity if they keep pushing what they're doing. And there again, I'm not an advocate. I don't advocate violence or any sort of physical force in any capacity.
They just hit the video, our video right now. That is so crazy.
I'm sorry, man. My bad.
No. I knew it. I'm surprised it took this long, honestly.
Well, I'm sorry, man. If some pencil neck up in Silicon Valley heard what I was saying, well, wasn't my intention. But
we heard the word California 75 times. We had to listen. No, I'm surprised it took the. I don't think it was what you had just said. I think it was probably something we said, prior to that, or the like live action shooting or something like that. So
it might have been that. Who the hell knows? And I'm at a point where I'm just I'm done trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
but
that's why. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right, but that just kind of, I don't know, man. All I can tell you is I do believe that there are a lot of good men in this country who sacrificed everything, and there again, God forbid, but you can only push good men so far.
Yep, that's the truth.
And in the end, and I also believe this too, is evil triumphs when good men do nothing.
Yep.
So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and you may know that we give every guest the honor of naming the stream. So I believe currently it is named DLD After Dark, episode 95, Behind Enemy Lines, featuring special guest N9ne. What would you like to name the stream?
Oh, I'm usually pretty good about naming things. And right now I'm having a blank. I'd say Life Behind Enemy Lies, Escape the Iron Curtain.
Okay, hold on. Life Behind
Enemy Lines.
Escape the Iron Curtain.
Escaping the Iron Curtain.
Nice. see if that takes. Oh, I think it took.
Sweet.
DLD after dark. Life behind your lines. Oh, whoops. I gotta change that. Okay. Boom. There we go. We got it. Well, dude, I so appreciate you coming on and taking the time to just kind of share, like, what you're doing, what
Yeah.
you're going through, and
Well, no problem, man. Thank you very much for having me, because me telling even in a general way, me telling my story, if it can make a difference to someone else out there, then by all means, I am 100% in. I just want to see this world be a better place. That's ultimately where my heart lies.
I think that's a common theme I find in most of the people in our little community. So I appreciate you taking a stand and taking a risk, honestly, for doing this. And thank you. And as you guys in the chat all know, I always end every single live stream with the same thing: be kind, be good people, be compassionate, caring, contribute to others, and make sure that you continue every single day becoming as skilled in violence as you possibly can be. Of course, only for the purpose of self-preservation, and just make sure that you are the most dangerous motherfucker that you possibly can be, and continue to make those tubes. See, it's an empty tube. Okay, it's empty, but it won't be empty for long. So.
Kind of reminds me of the Pirates Union.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, right. The telescope. These are things that may be able to help too. A little bit of potassium nitrate, a little bit of magnesium powder, a little bit of sulfur, and boom.
Shoot, man, you could have fun with all the good stuff. I can't even get tanner right.
Dang. Is it legal for me to send tannerite to California?
I don't think it is. No.
Dang it. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Definitely.
For
Well, thank you
tuning
for
in.
having me.
Hell yeah, man. And continue every single day doing your best to escape the Iron Curtain.
That's what I'm working towards. If that was easy, anybody could do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, brother. Everybody in
All right,
chat,
man.
thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks to everyone in the chat for hearing my story.
Hell yeah. Later.